15 Unsolved Mysteries of World War I that History Couldn't Explain. The First World War, also known as the Great War, involved all the major powers of the time and was the largest conflict in history up to that point. It had over 70 million combatants, with 60 million of them being Europeans. The war concluded with more than 16 million deaths, which accounted for 1% of the world's population. Additionally, it led to the collapse of four major empires, the German, Austro-Hungarian, Russian, and Ottoman empires. The First World War witnessed the horrors of chemical warfare for the first time, and although aircraft had already been used in the Italo-Turkish War of 1911, it was during this war that aerial combat became widespread. The First World War was also a stage for incredible rescues, inexplicable disappearances, inconceivable revelations, and numerous other enigmas. In this video, we have gathered 15 unsolved mysteries of the war that are yet to be fully explained. Prepare to be surprised and intrigued. But before we delve into these mysteries, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and activate notifications to stay up to date with our latest updates. Number 1, the Pocket Bible that saved the British soldier. During the First World War, a young British soldier's life was saved by a pocket Bible he carried in his uniform. 17-year-old Leonard Knight had placed the Bible in his breast pocket when a German soldier fired at him, penetrating the hardcover. However, the thickness of the book prevented the bullet from penetrating further. The bullet stopped when it had about 50 pages left to go through, saving Leonard from a potentially fatal heart shot. The young soldier had received the Bible from his aunt, Minnie James, with a note that read, "For Leonard, with love from Aunt Minnie, July 1915. After the war, not much was known about the teenage soldier, but it is believed that he survived the conflict. The exact location of the incident remains unknown. The Bible, with the embedded German bullet, has been preserved as a family relic for 5 generations and is currently in the possession of Paula Ryan, a 60-year-old descendant. Number 2, the British soldier who spared Adolf Hitler's life. One of the most highly decorated British soldiers of the First World War, Private Tandy, tarnished his brilliant service record just before the start of the Second World War when it was revealed that he had spared Adolf Hitler's life. On September 28, 1918, Tandy was awarded the Victoria Cross for his outstanding bravery and initiative during the 5th Battle of Ypres. The soldier combined courage with mercy, refusing to annihilate wounded or unarmed enemies. It appears that the future German leader was a beneficiary of this act of mercy. In Hitler's Bavarian retreat, there was a painting from the First World War that he believed depicted the moment he was targeted by a British soldier but spared. Hitler allegedly said, "That man came so close to killing me that I thought I would never see Germany again. Providence saved me from a diabolical fire as accurate as the one those English boys were making at us." Number 3, the mystery of Celtic wood. During the Battle of Passchendaele on October 9, 1917, in Western Flanders, the 10th Battalion of the 1st Australian Division launched a diversionary attack against German positions in Celtic wood. Strangely, the 71 men who carried out the attack disappeared without a trace. Official reports from the Australian Army do not indicate what happened to the men of the 10th Battalion, while German records make no mention of the attack. The last known information about the soldiers is that they entered the fog and vanished. One speculative theory suggests that the Australians were massacred and buried in an undiscovered mass grave. Australian war correspondent Charles Bin wrote, "The operation ended disastrously. Nothing was ever heard of the missing. Their names were not on any list of captured prisoners during the war." The incident remains Australia's greatest mystery of the First World War and has even been compared to the fictional Picnic at Hanging Rock, a well-known Australian historical novel. Number 4, the Lost Battalion. In October 1918, A total of 554 soldiers from 9 companies of the 77th American Division became isolated from their own lines after an attack in the Argonne Forest during the First World War. Around 200 men died in action, 194 were rescued, and approximately 150 disappeared or fell into enemy captivity. The attack resulted from tragic confusion, as the Americans mistakenly believed their left flank was protected by French forces and their right flank by units from their own army. Surrounded by Germans, the Americans were left without food, ammunition, and effective communication. They were even bombarded by friendly fire from their own artillery. Attempts to resupply them by air failed, with most supplies falling into German hands or getting lost in the forest. With Germans patrolling everywhere, their only means of communication were carrier pigeons. Amidst the disaster, one of the birds delivered imprecise coordinates to the command, leading to the besieged soldiers being attacked by their own comrades. Number 5, the disappearance of USS Cyclops. The USS Cyclops was the lead ship of the Proteus-class colliers, commissioned by the United States Navy in the years leading up to World War I. It was the second ship in the U.S. Navy to be named after the Cyclopes, the race of giants with a single eye in Greek mythology. The ship and its 306 crew members vanished forever around March 4, 1918, in the Bermuda Triangle, marking the largest loss of life in U.S. naval history without direct combat involvement. Given that the disappearance occurred during the war, speculation arose that it might have been sunk by a German submarine, especially since it was carrying 10,800 tons of manganese ore, a material used in ammunition production. However, the German Empire did not claim responsibility for the sinking, and subsequent German governments denied any involvement in the vessel's disappearance. The U.S. Naval History and Heritage Command stated that it likely sank due to an unexpected storm. Number 6, the fate of the Aries treasure. During the height of the Russian Civil War, which took place between 1917 and 1923, overlapping with the first 2 years of World War I, anti-communist leader and admiral of the White Army Alexander Vasilovich Kolchak was declared the supreme ruler of Russia. His rise to power was supported by a significant reserve of state-owned gold transported by the White Army between the cities of Kazan and Omsk. Estimates suggest that the gold reserves had a value of 650 million rubles. However, when the Bolsheviks eventually won the war, only 62% of the gold appeared, with 250 million rubles worth remaining missing. According to Estonian soldier Karl Rock, a fighter in the White Army's Siberian Regiment, the gold was buried near the Tiger train station in the city of Kirensk. In 1941, the Soviet secret police, predecessor to the KGB, unsuccessfully excavated the area in search of the valuable Siberian treasure, which may still await a fortunate treasure hunter. Number 7, the disappearance of the Royal Norfolk Regiment. In 1915, during the second year of World War I, the United Kingdom deployed a large force of British, Australian, and New Zealand troops to the Gallipoli Peninsula in the Dardanelles, Turkey, with the mission to deliver a severe blow to the Ottoman Empire and secure control of the strategic maritime route. Among the Allied combat units was the Royal Norfolk Regiment, comprised of 250 soldiers and 16 officers, mostly servants, gardeners, grooms, and other employees from the Sandringham estate, belonging to the British royal family. On August 12, 1915, the Royal Norfolk Regiment received orders to attack, but they made the mistake of venturing too far ahead of their brigade and decided to advance without support or reinforcements, exposing themselves to Turkish machine gun and sniper fire. The Ottomans pushed them back towards a burning forest, and they continued the pursuit until disappearing into the smoke, never to be seen again. It is believed that many were captured and possibly executed by the Turks. Although the Turkish government has consistently stated that they have no knowledge of what happened to the Royal Norfolk Regiment. Number 8, the death of the Red Baron. German fighter pilot Manfred Albrecht Freiherr von Richthofen, better known as the Red Baron, is recognized as the top ace of aviation during World War I, with 80 victories in aerial combat. The Red Baron was wounded and shot down on April 21, 1918, near Vaux-sur-Somme, France. The feat of bringing him down was officially attributed to pilot Roy Brown. However, subsequent investigations cast doubt on this version, accepting that the bullet that killed the Red Baron was fired from the ground. Richthofen died from a wound caused by a bullet that entered through his right armpit and exited near his left nipple. Brown's attack came from behind and above the German aircraft, making it impossible for him to have fired the fatal shot. Several sources agree that the fatal shot was likely fired from the ground, possibly by gunner Cedric Popkin of the Australian 24th Machine Gun Company. Other gunners who have been postulated as possible killers of the Red Baron are Wona Evans and Robert Booyer, also Australians. Number 9, the infamous Kiss. Béla Kiss was a Hungarian serial killer believed to have murdered 23 women and 1 man, including his wife and her lover. He preserved the bodies in metal drums. Kiss was a respected tinsmith from Cinkota, a town near Budapest, who lived with his housekeeper. After his wife left him to escape with an artist named Vilma, Kiss claimed to use his large drums for storing gasoline. When authorities in Cinkota thought that the gasoline he stored in his drums could be of great help due to the acute fuel shortage experienced by almost all of Europe's civilian population, they found something different inside the drums. They discovered 24 corpses of strangled individuals preserved in alcohol. Among the dead were the housekeeper, Kiss's ex-wife, and the body of a man identified as Vilma's lover. When the police went to the Serbian hospital where Kiss was convalescing from a war wound, the Hungarian had already disappeared, and they never managed to capture him. Number 10, the Sketchbook of Soldier J.M. In the 1970s, a mysterious illustrated diary with sketches was discovered in the archives of the University of Victoria in Canada. The sketches depicted scenes from the Western Front of World War I, and the only clue about the possible author was the initials JM, which, more than 100 years later, remain unidentified. The diary contains various information and vividly describes buildings, landscapes, and people affected in various ways by the war, often with great detail. The first page contains a dedication that says, "To my daughter Abel," and the diary features emblems of the British Royal Horse and Royal Field Artillery, indicating that JM likely served in those units during the war. However, efforts to identify JM have been unsuccessful, and the initials provide little assistance, as they could belong to an ordinary man such as John Morris or James Murphy. Number 11, the disappearance of the Florentine diamond. The Florentine diamond, also known simply as the Florentine, was a 137.27 carat gem, one of the largest and most famous diamonds ever known. It had a light yellow color with slight greenish hues and was intricately and irregularly cut in a double rose pattern with 9 sides and 126 facets. Originating from India, it was acquired in the late 16th century by Ludovico Castro, the Portuguese governor of Goa, and later came into the possession of the Medici family, a prominent Florentine family from which it took its best-known name. After the Medici family's disappearance as the most influential Florentine family of their time, the diamond became the property of the Habsburg dynasty, which held onto it until the defeat and dissolution of the Austro-Hungarian Empire in World War I. The Florentine diamond was last seen in 1918 at an exhibition in Vienna, and since then, its whereabouts remain unknown. Speculation suggests that before Austria's defeat, a member of the imperial family might have appropriated the diamond, and smuggled it out of Austria, possibly to the United States or Great Britain. Number 12, the sinking of German submarine V-85. In October 2016, the wreckage of a German submarine from World War I was discovered off the coast of Scotland. Images captured by underwater drones and sonar scans revealed that the sunken submarine was almost in a vertical position on the seabed, sparking many questions about how it sank. Marine historian and archaeologist Innes McCartney suggested that it could be the V-85 submarine, which had a legendary story. According to its own crew's account, during World War I, the submarine was attacked by a gigantic sea monster while on the surface. The struggle with the creature caused severe damage to the submarine, leading it to sink into the depths of the North Atlantic after the crew abandoned ship. However, another version indicates that the submarine was sunk on April 30, 1918, by the patrol boat HMS Curiosities. Despite the incident never being confirmed by any involved party, the mystery surrounding the sinking remains. Number 13, Czech Mafia activities. The Czech Mafia was a secret organization that operated during World War I, led by Edward Beneš, who would later become the second president of Czechoslovakia. Although it was a politically motivated organization, the Czech Mafia was based on the same principles as the Sicilian Mafia. As a resistance movement, its main goal was the overthrow of the Austro-Hungarian Empire and the Central Powers to liberate and rebuild their country. In this context, the Czech Mafia embodied a central part of the early Czechoslovak resistance until their plans were uncovered by the police in 1915. Several leaders, including Karel Kramar, Vavro Srobar, and Josef Solda, were imprisoned and condemned to death, but they were later granted amnesty by Emperor Charles I. Beneš managed to escape to Switzerland in September 1915. But the subversive activities of the Czech Mafia continued within Czechoslovakia under the leadership of Vavro Srobar until the Allied victory in the war. The organization grew to have more than 200 active agents and received foreign support, especially from the United States and Italy. Number 14, German Empire's influence on the Bolshevik Revolution. The Russian Revolution has gone down in history as the victory of the workers and peasants against the Tsarist Empire, with the significant aid provided by the German Empire to the Bolsheviks taking a back seat. In April 1917, Kaiser Wilhelm II arranged for a train to transport Russian emigrants led by Vladimir Ilyich Lenin back to Russia to lead the revolutionary movement. Obviously, the Kaiser did not provide assistance to the revolutionaries because he had suddenly converted to communism, but because he desired to definitively erase the Tsarist Empire from the map. Nicholas II Romanov had abdicated in March 1917, and a message from the German High Command to the German Foreign Minister stated, "Lenin's entry into Russia has been successful. He is working according to our wishes." Thus, the Bolshevik Revolution benefited from a political paradox, with the German Kaiser Wilhelm II supporting communist Lenin. Number 15, the war against ground squirrels in California. In April 1918, while American soldiers fought against the Germans in Europe, California school children were called to enlist in a local war effort to exterminate ground squirrels. George Heck, the state commissioner of horticulture, passionately declared in a speech, "We have enemies here at home more destructive perhaps than some of the enemies our boys are fighting in the trenches," and called upon children and teachers to support their country by organizing soldier companies in their classes or schools to destroy the army of squirrels. The patriotic official was not referring to the cute tree squirrels but rather the California ground squirrels, a burrowing species that devoured crops, causing losses of $30 million at the time, approximately $500 million today. Farmers were unsuccessfully fighting against a rodent that reproduced at an astonishing rate, and was a source of the bubonic plague. Specifically, the squirrels in flames were projectiles fired by a rotating German 37mm anti-aircraft cannon. It was a type of short-barreled automatic revolver resembling a Gatling gun that was designed to fire flare ammunition in rapid sequence, producing a visual effect similar to flaming onions. Although it ended over 100 years ago, World War I still lingers in the collective imagination as one of the most atrocious conflicts humanity has experienced, with its enormous burden of heroism and brutality. It also left behind a significant number of unexplained events that continue to fuel human appetite for the mysterious. We hope this video has been helpful to you. If you have anything to add, please share it with us in the comments section. Like this video and share the link with your family and best friends, so they can also learn about the 15 unsolved mysteries of World War I that history has been unable to explain. Thanks for watching. If you found this video interesting, make sure to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We'll be back soon with more curiosities from history.